Welcome back to Movie Summary. Today we are diving into a film called Notes on a Scandal. In part 1, we met Barbara, a veteran teacher at a school who became very close with a new teacher named Sheba. One day she saw Sheba getting into action with a student named Stephen. She confronted Sheba and told her she won't tell the school, but this relationship needs to stop. Then days later, during Christmas, while Sheba and her huge family are having fun, Stephen surprises her outside her house while she is getting the garbage out. She is shocked as her entire family is there. He then tells her, "I haven't heard from you for a long time." She tells him she can't do this anymore. It's over. At this moment her husband Richard walks out looking for her. They hide. She tells him to leave, but he is heartbroken, but gives her a kiss before leaving. She kisses him back with passion. She then goes back inside all shocked and stay crying hard. We are then shown Barbara, who writes about Sheba. She is so obsessed with her. Days later Sheba is getting into action with Stephen again. She then meets Barbara and gives her a Christmas present. Barbara is so happy she cries. That same night Sheba is again with Stephen. They are having a great time. Barbara, on the other side, realizing her cat had an issue and brought it to the veterinarian, who said it has few weeks left. She tells the news to Sheba in tears. When Sheba phone's beeps, Barbara feels she is a little bit bothering, so she wants to leave as Sheba's phone keeps beeping. All Sheba wants is Barbara to leave so she can reply to the phone. Barbara then realizes someone is in Sheba's garden. Sheba's phone rings again. Barbara runs to pick it up. Stephen then says something dirty. Barbara then leaves as Sheba runs after her. She screams she is sorry. She tried to end it but she couldn't. Barbara reminds her she promised. Barbara then screams to her to end this relationship now, or she will tell his husband when he returns. Sheba then bikes through the city and arrives to Stephen's apartment. The dad opens and is shocked, but she says she is here to talk about a project with Stephen. Stephen then comes out to talk to that. Sheba tells him Barbara knows. Stephen is scared of being expelled. He says it was supposed to be fun and now it's a serious thing. He adds that whatever you are going through with your family, I can't help you, I can't be your escape. Barbara then drives and catches up to Sheba, who is in tears. She hugs her very tight. After Barbara is happy, saying how Sheba has no one to turn to than her. She is so obsessed with Sheba that now she thinks they in a phase where they are planning to live together forever. Days passed. Both friends are sitting on the bench and Barbara tells Sheba this is where her and her last best friend Jennifer used to always come sit. That friend got huge depression and left the city. Barbara feels guilty. She then shares with Sheba that her big fear was end her days alone, but now she may not be, especially with a friend like Sheba. The next day, it's time to take the cat down. Barbara cries and runs to Sheba's house, where she arrives with her family. She hugs her in tears and asks her to come with her. Sheba tells her it's her son's play. They are all going. Barbara screams to her that someone just died, referring to the cat. She tells her, "You owe me this." Barbara says, "I thought you understood what friendship means." Sheba tells her, "This is my family, my child." Richard, the husband, gets out mad, asking why is Barbara always here? What kind of spell she casted on you? Barbara then makes her decide between her and her family, telling her to stay with her if she is good friend. Barbara tells her, "Stay with me, or beware of the consequences." Sheba then gets back in the car with her family. Later, as Barbara is burying her cat, she tells us her last best friend Jennifer thought she was too intense. Barbara's doorbell then rings. It's another teacher from school who wants to talk to her about Sheba. He wants to know if she ever mentioned him. Barbara responds that never. He confesses that he is in love with Sheba. He wants to know if she can talk to Sheba and help him out. Barbara tells her you may not be her type as she like younger. She adds that she heard rumors that Sheba is seen a student named Stephen. The teacher, which name is Brian, is in disbelief. When he leaves, Barbara takes a bath wondering how long until the news spread out, and adds that Sheba doesn't know what it is to be alone. The next day Sheba calls Barbara to come over. She does. And that night, a woman steps out of a car outside the house. She knocks on the door brutally. Richard opens and the woman asks, "Are you her husband?" It's Stephen's mother. She wants to talk to Sheba. She sees her and slaps her, start hitting her, screaming, "He is just a child." Stephen calms her down and gets her out, as Sheba's daughter Polly is watching. Barbara takes the kids upstairs and later Sheba reveals everything to Richard, who screams at her. While they argue, Barbara is sitting watching with a huge smile on her face. Richard in tears asks why. She screams she doesn't know. The next day police arrives to the school and takes Sheba as teachers are shocked. Barbara is then happy Sheba doesn't know it's her fault, telling us Sheba thinks the boy cracked and told his mother. She watches the news who adds that rumors thinks that another teacher may have known what was going on. The next day Barbara is interrogated by the principal. She claims she didn't know and he reminds her that if she knew, she enabled a crime. He wants her to resign, and adds he spoke to an ex-teacher of the school, her ex-best friend Jennifer. He reminds her that Jennifer threatened Barbara with a restraining order. He tells her you either resign, or all the dirty things between Jennifer and her will come out. Minutes later Barbara is walking as everyone looks at her. She gets home and sees Stephen. He follows her and she tries to escape. She gets in the house just in time but he knocks on her door. Barbara is now thinking, he knows it was her, but does Sheba knows too? Is that why she hasn't returned her calls? The next day a group of photographers are in front of Sheba's house as Barbara arrives. Richard welcomes her and tells her Sheba is in her studio. As arriving Barbara sees Polly screaming at her mom about this incident. Barbara arrives and hugs Sheba. Sheba tells her that Richard and her are in cold, and asks to come stay a couple of days at Barbara's apartment. Of course she is happy, and says you are welcome as long as you like. Sheba then takes her bags ready to leave. Richard meets her. He tells her I knew who you were from the beginning, young and it would be tough. But he adds that you should have told me everything going in your head, how lonely you felt. She tries to kiss him but he avoids. We then hear Barbara saying this month has been delicious as she tries to touch Sheba's legs. Now outside of Barbara reporters gather. Days later, Sheba finds a note in the garbage and she seems so shocked. She violently starts searching around the house while Barbara is at the supermarket. She finds a bag of stars then Barbara's journal. Inside are the picture of Jennifer as well. Barbara then gets back home when she realizes her entire house is upside down. Sheba is sitting there staring at her with the journal in her hands. She confronts her about Barbara writing that Sheba will be happy without her family. She then slaps Barbara, asking you did all of this because I didn't help you collect your cat. She slaps her a second time. Barbara screams that I gave you exactly what you wanted. She says you would be still stuck in that marriage without me. Sheba says I could go to jail for 2 years. Barbara responds they will fly by fast. Sheba screams you don't know how to love. Sheba starts running out of the apartment as photographers flashes her. She screams as she lost her mind. She tries to escape them but Barbara comes to save her and they get back inside. That night Sheba finally leaves the apartment. She comes back to her house. She knocks. Richard opens and invites her in. As Barbara on the other end just bought a new journal. The next day, we are shown a woman reading about Sheba getting 10 months in prison. Barbara comes behind and says, I knew her. The woman asks how was Sheba. She replies that Sheba was an absent person. She then sits next to that young lady. She adds that she is now a retired teacher. Barbara looks at that young lady and introduces herself, as she seems to have found her next victim. She then invites her to a concert as the movie ends. Thanks everyone for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and check our other movies summaries.